Good morning once again, everyone. Thursday, 20th of November, and we're here with Commissioner Albuquerque for a press conference on the supplementary pension package that the College has discussed yesterday. Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Thank you for being here. Today, the Commission took the latest step in turning the Savings and Investments Union from vision into action by putting forward our package on supplementary pensions. In Europe, people now live longer and healthier lives, which is something we should be proud of. But state-funded pension schemes, and in particular pay-as-you-go pension systems, are still the backbone of the retirement systems across all member states, and they will remain so. However, when longer life expectancy is combined with shrinking workforces and the rise of flexible and non-standard forms of employment, we need to think carefully about how to foster opportunities for EU citizens to complement their retirement incomes. Supplementary pensions, such as occupational and personal pension schemes, allow citizens to build more adequate and diversified retirement incomes, giving them greater financial security and stability in later life. They help Europeans maintain their standard of living and strengthen their economic resilience, especially as demographic trends and changes in the labour market evolve. Beyond the clear benefits for individuals, boosting supplementary pension schemes plays a strategic role in financing the real economy. Investing for your pension is, by design, a long-term investment into the economy. This investment, which begins by you simply putting money aside for your retirement, is a catalyst which supports innovation, business growth, job creation, and productivity. It also means that you are not only funding your own retirement, but you are providing the opportunity for future generations to do the same. A more vibrant EU supplementary pension sector can provide stable capital for essential and strategic projects that society relies upon, including energy and digital transition, transport networks, and social infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, and affordable housing. However, uptake of supplementary pensions in Europe remains low. Only 20% of Europeans participate in an occupational pension scheme, and just 18% own a personal pension product. With this package, we are taking a comprehensive approach to strengthen both the demand and the supply for supplementary pensions. We want to encourage more people to save for their retirement and make it easier for them to do so, with the objective to complement, not replace, state-funded pensions. Today's package is made up of one recommendation and two legislative proposals. I will take each of these in turn. Our recommendation covers pension tracking systems, pension dashboards, and auto-enrollment into supplementary pension schemes. The reality is that right now, it is not easy for Europeans to understand what they will be entitled to when they retire. This lack of clarity about their future pension often leads people either not to save at all or to begin saving too late in their lives. To address this issue, we are recommending to Member States to introduce pension tracking systems, which are in practice digital platforms where citizens can track their pension rights and projected benefits, ideally across various pension schemes and providers, including public pensions. We are also recommending pension dashboards, which will provide an overview of the sustainability and adequacy of national pension systems, including key indicators such as coverage, contributions, retirement income across different population groups, and fiscal costs. This will provide more trust in pension systems and will support policy design at national level based on clear evidence. Those national dashboards should ultimately feed into an EU-level pension dashboard, which would facilitate cross-country comparisons and mutual learning. This tool also highlights that the structure of pension systems remains primarily a member state's competence, and that our initiatives presented today are not changing that. Finally, we are recommending that member states introduce auto-enrollment, whereby workers are automatically included in supplementary pension schemes, but can opt out if they wish. Auto-enrollment helps overcome the natural tendency to delay decisions about retirement, ensuring more people begin saving earlier and more consistently, while fully respecting individual choice. Where already in practice throughout Europe, auto-enrollment has proven to be successful in increasing participation rates as well as pension adequacy for retirees. Evidence shows that individuals once enrolled tend to remain in the schemes. The two legislative proposals we are putting forward cover our existing rules on occupational pensions, known as IORP, and personal pensions, known as PEPP. Today, IORP schemes are still too small and fragmented across the EU. Around 80% have less than €1 billion of assets under management, and 1/3 of them have less than 25 million. With this review, we want to change that. First, by removing barriers to consolidation, we can help schemes operate more efficiently, reduce costs, and invest more strategically for the long term, increasing returns. And second, we want to strengthen trust in occupational pensions by improving transparency and giving beneficiaries clearer, more useful information about their future retirement income. Regarding PEPP, our review of this regulation aims to make it more attractive and accessible for both savers and providers, and to turn it into a genuinely European, cost-effective and long-term savings product. We are proposing to bring in more flexibility for providers while upholding strong transparency, cost disclosure and investor protection. Finally, today, the Commission has also adopted a communication which clarifies the so-called prudent person principle, which governs how pension providers should invest and manage their portfolios. Our clarification will ensure that equity investments by supplementary pension schemes are not discouraged. This will help citizens achieve higher, long-term returns on their savings and free up new sources of financing for the EU economy. Our supplementary pensions package will work hand in hand with our initiatives on financial literacy and savings and investments accounts, providing Europeans with more opportunities to save for their future and helping Europe build a more resilient and confident society. Today, we are delivering tools to boost participation in supplementary pensions, but effective implementation at national level will be critical to achieve our objectives. That's why I urge all stakeholders to join us in this effort. I now look forward to your questions.
Thanks a lot. We're now ready indeed to take questions. Before asking your question, please say your name and the media outlet for which you work. I would like first to take questions on the topic of the day, so the supplementary pension package, and then if time allows, we can perhaps take questions on other topics. Lyubov, let's start with you.
Lyubov Pronina, Bloomberg News. Thank you very much, Commissioner. If we fast forward the next 4 years at the end of your mandate, what would you like the pension system across Europe to look like? And what would you like to have achieved by then? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Good morning. I would like to see that we would have a stronger pension fund industry, in the sense that our pension funds would be able to invest more efficiently and have higher returns. And I would like to see the forecasts, the projections of adequacy for pensions to be way more robust than they are now in many member states. The objective of this package is to address something which is a concern in many member states, that pension adequacy is not guaranteed with the current situation. So the main concern we have is to improve this. But also I would like to see more tracking systems existing so that future pensioners, citizens would have better information about what to expect from their pension so that they can prepare appropriately for that future. This is, as I explained, a lot of member states' competence. It will require significant engagement also from the social partners, but this is about addressing the demographic challenges we have and guaranteeing that everyone, especially those of you younger, will have a good retirement income when your time comes to retire.
Thank you. First row, and then I'll continue with the questions.
Commissioner, Detlef Fechtner with Börsenzeitung, a German financial daily. Just on the PEPP, have you talked to industry? Do you have the expectation that now more than just the two in 2019 willing to take it, and are you optimist that it can fly without any tax priorities or favorable treatment? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we have, as with any proposal we make, we do talk to different stakeholders to understand exactly where the issues might be, so that we are sure that our solutions can help the problems that we encounter. So yes, we have spoken to the industry. I am optimistic that with this review, obviously if and when agreed by the co-legislators, we will have, it will make it a more easily usable product, and we want to give our citizens as much opportunities as possible. As you know, we have already put forward a proposal, a recommendation for a savings and investments account. We also know that there are insurance-linked products. Now we have the PEPP. We want to raise awareness of people of the importance of saving for the long term, and we want to give them as many opportunities as possible. The tax advantages, as we all know, or the favorable tax treatment is always good to nudge people in the right direction, but that is member states' competence. But we would like that, because that would be the recognition by member states that they know it is important to save for the long term, and besides, the PEPP could also be used as by the employers as part of an occupational pension scheme. So we think that we are addressing the issues which led for a lower uptake, making it simpler with less restrictions, and hopefully member states on their side will also help us promote this product with the aim of increasing pension adequacy and quality of life in retirement.
Thank you. I'll take the question from Anna from remote, and then we come back to Samir.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, and we also see you. Good morning, Anna.
Okay, perfect. Hi, good morning. Can I make my question in Portuguese? I believe there's translation.
Yes, there is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll give you some time to change.
It's okay, I think you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do it. Bom dia, Senhora Comissária. Gostaria de saber se tem alguma estimativa, eu estou-me a ouvir ao mesmo tempo, mas vou tentar. Tem alguma estimativa de quanto é que isto poderia gerar em termos de ganhos com pensões complementares em toda a União Europeia? Sendo que estamos a falar de recomendações e gostava de saber como é que pode calcular, então, quanto dinheiro a mais é que pode ser libertado para as poupanças, das poupanças para o investimento. E gostava de falar no caso de Portugal, que é um dos países onde estas pensões complementares são menos usadas, em comparação com outros Estados-membros. Portanto, gostaria de saber se acredita que o Governo vai aceitar estas recomendações, a inscrição automática, a questão do tracking, e quando é que acha que isso pode realmente ser uma realidade. E outra questão, se me permite, os salários baixos em Portugal não serão um obstáculo para que este sistema funcione, e acredita que realmente algumas empresas poderão passar a oferecer este tipo de pacotes aos seus trabalhadores? Obrigada.
Bom dia, Ana, e obrigada pelas várias perguntas. O que nos importa aqui não é tanto a estimativa de quanto é que isto pode gerar em ganhos, não é tanto uma questão de valor, e sobretudo isto também é algo que vai ser aplicado ao longo do tempo, mas é o que nós queremos claramente é promover esta tendência em que a forma em que a criação de condições para que as pensões sejam adequadas para as próximas gerações, reparem que isto não é tanto não é para as pessoas da minha idade, por exemplo, que já estão perto da idade da reforma. Estamos mais preocupados com aqueles que são mais jovens e cuja pensão, se ficarem apenas sujeitos ao sistema público, pode ser muito baixa para lhes garantir condições de vida adequadas na velhice. E, portanto, o que nós queremos, de facto, é que se caminhe nesse sentido e queremos que os Estados-membros sigam estas recomendações, porque isto é o que vai garantir uma vida melhor para as gerações futuras quando chegarem à sua reforma. Isto são, de facto, recomendações, porque, como é dito, são competências dos Estados-membros. Nós vamos, naturalmente, acompanhar estas recomendações, nomeadamente através do semestre europeu, do acompanhamento que o Eurogrupo faz das reformas implementadas a nível nacional. Quanto ao caso específico de Portugal, eu não falei especificamente ainda com nenhum ministro da União Europeia ou com nenhum governo da União Europeia. Este é um tema que certamente vai ser discutido nas próximas reuniões do Eurogrupo, do ECOFIN, em que estarão sentados todos os ministros, e a questão que colocou sobre os salários baixos. Os salários baixos são, infelizmente, uma realidade em muitos Estados-membros, mas precisamente as pessoas com os salários mais baixos são aquelas que se encontrarão em maior risco de pobreza nas pensões se nós não fizermos nada para resolver essa questão. E, portanto, é ainda mais importante se pensarmos nessa parte da população ou nos Estados-membros em que essa parte da população é mais relevante. Quanto às empresas participarem ou não, existem exemplos de mecanismos de políticas que foram adotadas em vários Estados-membros. Por exemplo, a Irlanda vai implementar um sistema já a partir de janeiro do próximo ano, que é criado para facilitar a adesão das pequenas empresas a este tipo de esquemas. E, portanto, existem múltiplos exemplos de como se pode implementar um sistema deste, fomentando a adesão de todas as empresas, independentemente da sua dimensão, e também, naturalmente, para dar cobertura àqueles trabalhadores que têm formas menos tradicionais, os de autoemprego, com formas menos tradicionais de participação no mercado de trabalho, e que, com certeza, também terão de ser protegidos quando chegar à altura de receberem uma pensão.
Thank you very much. Let's now go to Samir here in the press room.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm from a Dutch pension fund magazine. I have two questions. One is, does the new interpretation of the prudent person rule implies that pension funds are obliged to invest sustainable? Because you see that they have not only they have to take into account long-term effect on their investment decisions on sustainability factors. So that's the first question. And the second question is, like yesterday with the SFDR, it's all about simplification, less rules. But I got the impression that in IORP there are a lot of more rules than in the current version. So is this not a bit yeah, how does this fit in making things simple, or yeah?
Thank you. Well, the pension funds are obliged to follow the prudent person principle and obviously to follow the mandate that those governing the pension funds attribute. So how much to invest in sustainable products is a decision that will have to be made by those awarding the mandate to the pension fund managers, and depending on the system, it can be the social partners. There are different models across Europe. I would say that investing for the long term, I think it's a good idea to invest sustainably, because if we don't have a sustainable future and a sustainable long term, then obviously many other issues will arise, including for the other investments that would be made. But the pension funds are obliged under IORP to follow the prudent person principle, which is to act in the interest of the beneficiaries. So that should be the focus of the pension fund managers. On whether IORP says more rules or less rules, I wouldn't necessarily assess simplification on the number of rules. If rules are simple or simpler to understand, if they promote a more harmonized outcome, I think this is some simplification. So just counting the lines is not necessarily the best approach to understand whether it's simplified or not. We believe that the changes we are making to IORP allow, and specifically for the prudent person principle, to be better interpreted in the way that it is meant to be interpreted. So allowing pension funds, depending obviously on their size, on their ability to absorb risk, also to go into equity, because that is important for the return of the pension funds. But this is an example of how having rules clarified and potentially taking a few more lines to write them down can lead to a simpler outcome because it will be less fragmented. This is the changes we are promoting are designed to guarantee that pension funds can be better managed, that they will have a clearer perception of what the prudent person principle means, that there will be no undue barriers to consolidation, because consolidation allows them to be more efficient, have better returns, and obviously the ultimate goal is to allow for better future pensions.
Thanks, Commissioner. Janusz, still on the supplementary pension package? Go ahead. Okay, so perhaps if it's on the supplementary pension package, let's take the question. Catherine, is it on the same? Okay, I'll go to Catherine and then I'll come back to you, Martin.
Hi, thank you. Catherine Carlson from Politico. On the PEPP, you've removed the fee cap. Under the retail investment strategy, the Commission wasn't able to put forward a ban on inducements. I mean, it seems that we're in this pattern where, in the face of lobbying or business refusing to uptake things with low fees that have, consumer protection measures in that way, the Commission has to back down over and over again. I mean, are you optimistic that you'll actually be able to stop EU consumers getting ripped off on fees? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. It's actually an important one. Our interaction with stakeholders revealed that the fee cap was actually impeding the offer of PEPP. And if there are no financial intermediaries offering a product, then investors cannot access it. So this was an issue. What we have in the retail investment strategy, which, as you know, we are in the final stages of discussion and trilogues with the co-legislators, is a way to make every cost more transparent and subjecting products to a value for money approach. So it's not so much about how many fees you charge, it's how much does the investor get after paying the fees, because that's actually what matters. What do you get if you have higher fees, but if the product has a higher return? What matters is what you get in the end. So we are focusing on disclosures, on guaranteeing that products offer value for money, because if we eliminate the fees, we can, or if we try to make them too low, the result could be that only very basic low return products are offered, and that is not necessarily in the best interest of retail investors. We want this to be transparent. If there are inducements, people should know. If I'm being sold something and the people selling the product to me will also make money from that sale, I'm entitled to know. I should know that so that I can make my own judgment whether that advice is good or not. And we should make sure that whatever is sold has value for money. The return justifies the eventual fees they exist. So it is about making this more transparent, clearer, and providing more options for the retail investors. And we are also combining this with other different opportunities for people to invest, so they will have more choice the PEPP, the savings and investments accounts, they have insurance-linked products. We want to widen the range of offer and apply these tools that allow investors to understand exactly what they're investing, what they are paying for, so that they can decide if that is worth paying for or not. And that applies to the discussion on risk or the removal of the fee cap on PEPP. Also, other projects, as we have, would increase competition among different providers in offering these products, and typically well-regulated competition leads to a decrease in costs. So we are also hopeful that FIDA, for example, could deliver that for our citizens and our retail investors. Thank you.
Thank you. Then Martijn and then Janos. Go ahead.
Yes, two questions, if I may. Thank you. Maarten van Wijk, Pensioen Pro. There was a question before that said, will sustainable investment be obligatory? And then you said, well, this is more up to the fund managers. What's obligatory is to follow the prudent person principle. However, the Article 9 says that within the prudent person principle, IORP shall take into account sustainability risks in their investment decisions. So they should take sustainability risk into account. So, but is it then possible, if you take sustainability risk into account, I think this means that you should also invest sustainably, or is it?
If I may, well, of course you have to take risks into account, and I don't think this contradicts the answer I gave before. You're investing for the long term. You will want to invest sustainably because you will want to get to the long term and get returns on your investments. So obviously, the sustainability is clearly among the risks if you invest longer term. So that has to be taken into account. If you are prudent, you have to take into account whether investments you are making are sustainable or not. Sustainability is about ESG, but it's about I think that we can also think sustainable in a bit of a broader context. You're investing for 40 years. You want to invest in a way that you take into account what could happen in these 40 years regarding climate, regarding many other elements, but how sustainable is your investment for the long term? So I don't think it is contradictory to what I have answered before.
We open the floor to questions on other topics, because otherwise we need to wrap it up in 5 minutes, and otherwise we won't have a chance to give the floor to the other colleagues. Janos.
Yes, I actually also have a question on the pension product, because I mean, Catherine already said it's very hard for the Commission to ban inducement-based sales, and now you are limiting, you are capping the cost cap, but because there might be more return in this way, but it's quite proven that basically in the past decades, the most return was the products with the lowest fees, which was basically an ETF tracking the market. So, is it even responsible for the Commission to propose or to push people to buy pension products that might now even have more than 1% of a fee?
Thank you. Let me start by saying that we are not pushing anyone to invest anywhere. And that is very important. We are not pushing people to invest on PEPP or to invest on savings and investments accounts or to invest on anything they do not want to invest in. What we are wanting to give people are opportunities and transparency. People will be able to choose. On the PEPP, we will have the basic PEPP, which will invest in something which is very simple, needs no advice, so likely in terms of return prospects, it would bring lower returns because it's built as a lower risk product, but people can also invest in that. And then we would have tailored PEPPs that can be adapted to meet the needs, the investment profiles that people may have. The point is that we want to give people opportunities and make this absolutely transparent so that they know what they are paying for. I know what you are referring to, this idea that tracking an index leads to more, the famous bet. But we also know that there are ways to structure investment products that give high returns. So what we want to give people is choice. They may want to choose more complex products. They may want to choose to pay more on fees for these more complex products. They may want to choose to pay for advice on what to be chosen. What we want to guarantee is that they have full transparency on what they are paying for, so that they have value for money, and that they also have other options that would allow them to invest with lower fees, with no advice. And then people will choose. We are not pushing anyway. We're just making the possibilities wider. People will choose freely. If they want to stick to the simple index tracking kind of investments, obviously it's also possible.
Before concluding this press conference, I'll take a couple of questions from remote. Tommaso.
Hi, good morning, Tommaso Gallavotti, AD Economics Italy. It's a question about the use of golden power by the Italian government on Unicredit Banco Popolare di Milano. Because we expect an infraction procedure towards Italy tomorrow. Is it a correct expectation? And also, if I may, it's just a try, but it is also said that the procedure was delayed by the President Ursula von der Leyen because of the very good relationship with Giorgia Meloni. Is it correct or not? Many thanks.
Hi, good morning. I have already talked about this process in several occasions, and I, at this stage, reiterate what I have said before. We do not comment on decisions not taken. So.
Nice try, Tommaso. Let's take a question from Tibe from remote, and then I think we will need to bring this to an end.
You say in the press release that regarding the recommendation of auto-enrollment, that we should look at examples of successful practices in other countries and also less successful examples. And what are you alluding to? Can you be a bit more specific, please, on what we should look at? Which countries are a good example and which are a less good example?
Thank you. We have some good examples in Europe. Namely, we have Sweden, we have Denmark. They are good examples of pension funds and pension fund strategies that lead to a high level of pension adequacy. We are also looking at a good example of a definition of a policy, as I already mentioned, the case of Ireland, which will be introduced in January. Here it's about the design features and the advantages it has, given that it's too early to talk about results of this. But as a general principle, we should learn from the things which were done well, but there's a lot of learning to do from the things which were done and went wrong, because we should avoid mistakes that have been already made. So what we are trying to do when we talk about pension dashboards is about allowing for there to be tools so that member states can assess the adequacy, the sustainability, how their pension systems work, considering both the public pension, the occupational pensions, the private pensions. How does this all interact? How does this guarantee or not the results for the retirees of future generations? And learn from those who have implemented successful systems, but I think it's also useful to look at situations where pension funds were, or pension systems were changed or even parts of it dismantled because they were leading to poor outcomes. There is also probably some learning advantages from looking into that. But we do have a few best practices if you want to look in Europe, but also you can look beyond Europe and see that in the UK or in the US or in Canada we have some very inspiring models of pension systems which, adapted to our own reality, could potentially be considered as references or learning possibilities.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of this press conference. First of all, let me thank the Commissioner for having been here with us, also the interpreters, of course all of you for having participated here in the press room and from remote, the colleagues that make this technically possible every day. And we will be back with you at around 6 o'clock this evening with a press point by Commissioner Suica and the Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority, Mohammed Mustafa, on the Palestine donor group. With that, I wish you a very nice afternoon and thanks again. Goodbye.
Thank you.